how a poor refugee invented Patek Philippe. Not all homeless refugees turn out to be successful, but the story of Patek is just as interesting as the hardship he faced. Patek went from being a war hero to a refugee and a luxury brand manufacturer. How better could that be? In today's video, we will look at how a poor refugee invented Patek Philippe. So watch this video till the end to find out, and do not forget to like this video. One basic thing humans understand fully is everyone lives once. But Patek defied that order when he found his passion after an almost terrible life of living as a refugee. Safe to say, Patek was reborn. Antoni Norbert de Patek was born in 1812 to his Polish parents Joachim and Anna in Warsaw. What seemed to be a sweet family, even though they had little money, soon turned into turmoil when Patek clocked 16. Patek lost his father just a few months after his 16th birthday, and to make matters worse, he was drafted into the Polish 1st Mounted Rifles Regiment in the war against Russia. Patek, who had been taught the value of life and to live it to the fullest amidst the hardship, was able to cope at the war front and was promoted to the rank of 2nd lieutenant after 3 years of committed service, then the highest honor of the Virtuti Militari Golden Cross for his bravery. While Patek's promotion might seem like a joyous thing for him, things took a drastic turn at the war front as Russia began to advance into the Polish territory, and Patek and other soldiers had to flee to France as refugees. Russia, noticing this, took another approach to force the French government to release all Polish refugees, and then Patek had no other choice than to flee to Switzerland. You will not believe what you will see next. Being a refugee in another man's country with no financial support means one thing. Patek had to look for a job. So, Patek began his search for a source of livelihood and soon started to trade in expensive pocket watches. Patek would buy the watches in bulk from already recognized brands and only add some external modifications to the watches to take their beauty to another level. Patek started adding precious metal cases and refined stones to pocket watches to increase the demand, and soon his reputation grew so well that his watches soon found a market for collectors of fine timepieces. Patek's reputation grew from Geneva to the rest of Switzerland, which was the beginning of new things for Patek. With such a feat, Patek, a fellow immigrant and watchmaker, Francesc Zapec, alongside a couple of craftsmen, Patek started a new company called Patek, Zapec & Co. Patek's company focused on extremely expensive timepieces that most of the time, the watches were made on demand only. Patek recorded a high level of success for the first 6 years, producing a minimum of 200 watches per year before an argument ensued between the two founders. This is not the whole story. It is even going to get crazier. Keep watching. Patek and Zapec parted ways after some months, and the company's name was changed to Patek & Co. The name remained the same until Patek met another watchmaker who would later be his lifelong partner, Adrien Philippe. Philippe was already a renowned watchmaker, having invented the keyless winding mechanism, which was gaining popularity at the time. Patek's partnership with Philippe soon became a force to reckon with, their ideal watch that was in vogue then in 1851. With that, a new company was born, Patek Philippe & Co. Both Patek and Philippe set perfection as the only true measure of their crafts, and their products received a vast recognition beyond Switzerland and the whole of Europe. Patek, who had previously faced an issue with Zapec, wanted to avoid such an issue with his new partner so it doesn't affect his business. Businesses in the 1800s were such that if any slip-up happened, another brand would take advantage of that to monopolize the market, and gaining the trust of the public after the slip-up might not be possible. To avoid this, Patek reached a new agreement with his new partner, and the two primary ideals are that all watches produced must maintain the highest quality possible, and new inventions and technical solutions must always be considered and implemented where possible. Following the new agreement, Patek's watches became so renowned that an open-face keyless winding watch called the Queen Victoria was presented at the Great Exhibition of London to Her Majesty Queen Victoria on the 18th of August 1851. Patek's company kept growing, and over the years, his company pioneered and popularized certain watch configurations and designs that were jaw-dropping in the 1800s. Watch configurations such as the perpetual calendar, the split second hand, the chronograph, and the minute repeater in mechanical watches were commonly found in Patek Philippe watches. Patek, being familiar with the Soviet state, was responsible for moving his products beyond the walls of Switzerland, as he often traveled to Russia, America, and England. Patek and his partner did all they could to maintain the brand's name and give their customers the best possible. After almost 40 years of premium service to the world, the unthinkable happened. Anthony Patek died, aged 65, in 1877. But due to the expertise of Philippe, the company sailed through challenging times. Wait a minute, this is not everything. Later in the video, we will show you how Philippe's son-in-law stepped up to take Patek's position. Unexpectedly, none of Patek's children filled in his position at the company. Instead, it was Philippe's son-in-law, Joseph Benassi, who took over the position. The company kept growing, maintaining its hallmark for quality over quantity, and did so flawlessly until Philippe died in 1894. However, Philippe's youngest son, Joseph Émile Philippe, filled in for his late father. During the 1900s, Patek Philippe restructured into a joint stock company with a couple of shareholders, but still, the majority of shares were controlled by Joseph Benassi and Joseph Philippe. The company's successors proved their worth when they gained the attention of one of the greatest scientists in the world, Albert Einstein, who ordered a custom gold pocket watch in 1916, a year in which he coincidentally completed his renowned theory of relativity. The year 1916 turned out to be a great one for Patek Philippe, as they also produced the world's very first ladies' wristwatch with a 5-minute repeater. While things were rosy for the new successors, the Great Depression had another thing in stock for them. Patek Philippe went from one of the most sought-after watch brands to a company fighting bankruptcy. To avoid a bitter ending, a conclusion was reached to sell the company, and the Swiss Stern family was the lucky investor who got the nod from the shareholders in 1932. While many other companies that were sold due to the Great Depression changed course to another product, the Stern family decided to continue the watch business since they've been supplying the Patek Philippe watch dials since inception, so they understood the business to a great extent. The decision taken by the Stern family proved to be a good one, as the company witnessed a turnaround after the takeover, as they grew the company's customer base in different countries within a year. The company bounced back to be the same Patek Philippe of the 1800s. It maintained a steady lead and impact in the global watch industry, with exclusive limited edition timepieces that truly stand the test of time. As of 2010, Patek Philippe announced they had produced just 40,000 timepieces, which are relatively low compared to other brands that have sold hundreds of thousands or even millions. But that is what Patek Philippe stands for: rarity and sheer exclusivity. This explains why timepieces by Patek Philippe have fetched some of the highest prices ever sold at auctions anywhere in the world. When Patek and Philippe drafted the company's slogan, which read, "You never actually own a Patek Philippe, you merely look after it for the next generation," they knew what they wanted, and that has been the watchword of everyone in the Patek Philippe company. The company started by poor refugees still holds the record of being one of the most expensive watch brands in the world.